Chapter 1. The look that lingered. James was 42. Salt and pepper hair. Lean frame. A man who spoke more with his eyes than his mouth. A quiet observer in a loud world. He wasn't looking for attention when he walked into the cafe that morning. He never did. He simply wanted peace, a place to think between meetings. But peace has a way of being interrupted in unexpected ways. She was sitting by the window, no older than 24. Red nails, oversized sweater, coffee cup held with both hands, like it meant something more than just caffeine. She glanced up as he passed, and then she didn't look away. He noticed, of course, the prolonged eye contact, the micro smile that appeared and then vanished like a secret. But he did what most older men do, he dismissed it. She's just being polite. I'm too old for that kind of attention. What James didn't know was that the look wasn't accidental. It was intentional, and it had a language all its own. Chapter 2. The respectful rebellion. Younger women, who are drawn to older men, rarely make the first move with words. They do it with behavior, subtle, respectful, almost reverent. And yet, underneath that respect is a quiet rebellion. I'm not afraid of you. I'm intrigued by you. 2 days later, James returned to the cafe. She was there again. This time, she stood in line behind him. You always order the same thing, she said, without a trace of hesitation. Flat white, no sugar. He turned. Surprised, she smiled, casual. Sorry, that sounded creepy. I just, ... I notice things. There it was again. That soft challenge. That flirtation wrapped in observational charm. Most men his age might have missed it. But James, though detached, wasn't ignorant. He raised an eyebrow. That's a rare quality. Most people don't see much anymore. She smiled again. A little slower this time. A little closer. Chapter 3. The delicate provocation. Her name was Lila, an art student, curious, clever, and far more emotionally intuitive than James had expected. They shared a table once by accident, she claimed. All the others are taken, she said, though half the cafe was empty. She asked about his books, about what he did, not with small talk, but real interest. She leaned in when he spoke, touched her hair when she laughed, brushed her fingers against the rim of her cup when silence fell between them. Silence she never rushed to fill. Younger women flirt differently with older men. They don't chase, they intrigue. They challenge without disrespect. They offer curiosity instead of chaos, and Lila was no exception. She was playing a game James hadn't played in years. A game of suggestion, not seduction. Of presence, not pressure. But men, especially those who've been burned or disillusioned, often misinterpret these signs. They assume she's just being nice, or worse, they project cynicism onto sincerity. James had seen enough to doubt his instincts. Yet something in her gaze disarmed that old armor. Chapter 4. The slow unveiling. They kept running into each other. Or maybe it wasn't coincidence. Lila had started to time her visits. She knew James came in every Tuesday and Friday, knew he sat in the back near the bookshelf, and James began to expect her, though he'd never admit it. Can I ask you something personal? She said one afternoon. He nodded. Why do older men always look somewhere else, like they're in two places at once? James smirked. Because we've been in more places than we care to remember. She nodded thoughtfully. That's what I like. You don't pretend to be happy all the time. It was an odd compliment, but a revealing one. Leela wasn't attracted to youth. She was drawn to depth, to stillness, to the kind of masculine calm that comes from failure, from growth, from letting go. Her flirting wasn't sexual, it was spiritual. She wanted to be seen, and to see in return. And yet, James was still hesitant. There's a quiet shame older men carry when younger women show interest. A guilt. Is this appropriate? What does she want? He didn't realize the answer was simple. She wanted to feel something real. Chapter 5. The moment most men miss the defining moment wasn't loud. It never is. They were walking after coffee and planned. The sky was turning grey. Leela pulled her sweater tighter. James offered his jacket. She took it, but as he handed it over, she did something small, something most men miss. She held onto his hand for just a second longer than necessary. Not romantically, not sexually, just ... Longer ... Enough to let him know she trusted him. Enough to say, I feel safe with you. And James felt it. That gentle transfer of energy, a subtle confession, one that didn't need words. He paused, looked at her. Really? Looked. Why me? He finally asked. Lila shrugged. Because you're still, and the world isn't. It hit him harder than he expected. So many men are chasing women, chasing youth, chasing approval. But here she was, choosing him not despite his age, but because of what it represented. Grounding, experience, presence. Chapter 6. The Confession. They never say out loud. They sat in silence on a bench by the river. Leela finally spoke. You don't flirt like younger men. You don't even try. That's what makes it harder. James chuckled. Maybe I've forgotten how. No, she said. You just stopped needing to. That was the unspoken appeal. Younger women who flirt with older men are often seeking something deeper. A man who isn't performing. A man who doesn't seek to impress, but to understand. They don't want games. They want grounding. James realized something then. It wasn't that younger women don't flirt directly. It's that their version of flirting is laced with emotional intelligence small tests. Slow glances, respectful teasing, thoughtful listening. And if you're not present enough, if you're not grounded enough, you'll miss it all. Chapter 7. The Stoic dilemmator. That night, James sat in his apartment. Books scattered on the coffee table. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius. He thought about the Stoic principle. Receive without pride. Let go without attachment. He admired Leela's energy. Her mind, her depth. But he also knew not to cling. He understood impermanence. That chemistry doesn't always require action. Still, he couldn't ignore what was real. She wasn't playing. She wasn't chasing sugar daddies or older authority figures. She was seeking resonance, and in him, she'd found it. But would he allow himself to feel it? Chapter 8. When silence speaks louder than seduction. A week passed. No cafe, no Lila. James told himself it was nothing. She's young, probably moved on. But something in him felt the absence, like a silence he didn't want to admit he missed. Then, one Friday, she returned. He was already there, sitting with his coffee, pretending not to hope. She walked straight to his table. No coffee, no sweater. Just confidence. You never called, she said. I didn't have your number. She smiled. You never asked. That's when it clicked. The look, the handhold, the laughter, the quiet walks. It was all there stacked, like clues. He was too proud or too uncertain to interpret. You still think I'm just being nice? She asked. No, he said slowly. Now I think you were being bold, and you were being blind. They both laughed. Chapter 9. The truth most men refuse. To see younger women don't always flirt the way older men expect. They don't use obvious pickup lines or dramatic seduction. They use connection. They flirt with presence, with playful defiance, with compliments disguised as questions, with curiosity disguised as coincidence. Most men miss it, because most men aren't listening. But if you slow down, if you learn to observe, you'll see the truth. And the truth is this: when a younger woman is drawn to an older man, it's not because of his wallet or his wrinkles. It's because of his energy, his detachment, his calm. She's not looking for drama. She's looking for depth, not validation, but vision. Not a boy pretending to be a man, but a man who has stopped pretending altogether.